Hello and welcome to a stretch spectacular today. We're going to do full body stretches. This is exactly the kind of stretches I would do for myself, my own practice, but you're going to come along with me. Before we get started, if you can really help me out by pressing subscribe, should be down here somewhere underneath the video. It would be really helpful and help me to keep creating awesome classes for you. So let's get on to hands and knees. We'll start with some chest circles. So plant your hands probably slightly wider than usual, about mat width apart, and start to circle the chest down and then lift away. So as you lift away, really arching and rounding the back there. So coming close to the mat and pulling the spine away. So we're looking for as much movement as we can. We're not inhibiting any movement here. You get some really nice stretch and strength through shoulders and chest here. Let's change direction. So you're taking those back the way you came. Really good. Feeling those hips moving side to side. Gorgeous work. One more time. And then we're going to bring our hands back underneath our shoulders for cat-cows. So starting to round your spine, tuck your tail, tuck your chin, really lift that spine to the ceiling. And then lowering and dropping the belly, lifting the tail, opening the collarbones and looking somewhere ahead of you or wherever your neck is happy to take you today. So rounding through the spine and back bending. That will be our inhale in the back bend. And our exhale as we round and arch. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, round and arch. Remember, your tailbone and your neck are parts of your spine, so they need to be moving too, not just the midsection. And as much as these are quite a basic movement in Pilates and in yoga, they're really good. If you really go to your full range and make the most of these, the last one. And back to hands and knees. Sinking back to child's pose from here, we're going to stretch the fingertips forwards and rest the forehead towards the mat. Now your knees can be narrow or wider if you prefer to open the knees. There might be a bit more space for your chest and for your ribs. Spread your fingertips wide and grip the mat as you push the mat forwards. And as you push the mat forwards, you're sinking your sit bones back and we get this really good exaggerated length and stretch down the back of the body. So another deep breath there, breathing into the back, using that inhale to widen and expand the back. Taking inspiration from the thread the needle movement, we're going to take our left hand and come underneath our right armpit. So thread your hand through and try and get your head through. Don't worry if you can't get all the way under. And breathing here. Feeling this openness, particularly in the right side of the back. And this stretch in the left shoulder blade and shoulder as you thread through. And then changing this to the other side. So taking your left hand back and scooching the right hand under the left armpit and settling there. Feeling that openness down the left side of the body and that stretch in the right shoulder and right shoulder blade as they come away from the centre spine. And bringing it back through to hands and knees. We're going to find a transitionary stretch between a kneeling lunge and a hamstring stretch. Now, if you need a bit of support for this, you could grab a block in each hand so that you've kind of got a little bit of support on each side. But we're going to take 1 foot forward, so we're in a kneeling position. And you want to do quite a long kneeling position here because we're going to start to lunge forwards over the front leg. So you might be able to get hands or fingertips down onto the mat, or you might prefer a couple of blocks here to hold on to. Okay. So quite often we see mistakes here in that people's lunge stride is too short, and then they get a little bit carried away, a bit too much pressure through the knee, and there's not much space to stretch. So you might just need to creep your toes forwards, and then allow your hips to sink further forwards. Now the next thing to think about is squaring the hips, because again it's very easy to kind of twist to the side here. We want to train belly button and hip bones forward facing. So that might mean sort of retracting your forward hip, kind of pulling that back. And if you think about your knee on the floor, that back knee, almost try and drag it forwards along the mat. So we get a little bit of activity here as we actively engage to pull the knee forwards. Breathing here. And as I said, this is going to be a transitionary stretch. So from here, you can move your hands and move your blocks around. You're going to push through that front leg, straighten the front leg, and take the bottom back into the air behind you. Now you do not have to bring the bottom too far back. You don't have to take the bum all the way to the foot. You can keep that bottom just in the air and feeling that stretch down the hamstring of the front leg. Things you could also do here would be to flex the front toes. This will bring it into the calf muscle a little bit more. Okay, so taking your time there. Finding that length in the back leg. Again, retracting the hip so that you find even more length down the leg. So if you pull your hip bone back, your thigh will lengthen. And we're going to transition between that forward lunge, so bringing your weight forwards again, and that hamstring stretch. And you're going to take your time here, moving between the two, because you might be thinking, oh my word, that hamstring's really tight, or actually I need a bit more time in the lunge. So just exploring those movements as and when you can. Wonderful, so let's just go for hamstring stretch again. So that's bottom back. And then bring it forwards to lunge stretch. So from lunge stretch, we're going to take a little bit of a taller seat here. So if you've got your blocks, that could be quite handy. Same hand as the back leg, okay? So if your left leg is back, you're going to use your left arm. You're going to stretch up towards the ceiling. That might mean right hand comes down to the floor to help you out, fingertips to the floor. So just stretching up tall now. So as we stretch all down one side of the body, it's going to help to open up into the hip flexor. And breathing there. We're going to start to bring in a pelvic floor contraction here. So as you exhale, you're going to draw your pelvic floor up. As you inhale, release pelvic floor and lunge deeper. Exhale, pelvic floor draws up. Inhale, release pelvic floor, lunge deeper. Exhale, lift pelvic floor. Inhale, release, lunge deeper. Good. Bring that left hand back. Really nice. We're going to come back to kneel and we're going to change legs. So bringing one foot forwards and leaving one knee behind you. Again, use those blocks if you need to. We're coming to our lunge stretch. We're checking that our toes are far forwards enough so that we can get a deep hip position. And then we're also going to think about squaring the hips. So that front hip, you almost want to retract it back and drag your back knee forwards along the mat to find that increased length. So breathing here in our lunge, you can use fists, fingertips, wherever you need your hands to be on the mat. And then transitioning back to your hamstring stretch. So you straighten your front leg, shift your weight back. You can move your hands wherever they need to be. And feel this length now through the back of the thigh particularly. If you flex the toes, you'll get more into the calf muscle as well. So that's the back of the lower leg. And then let's transition between that lunge and that hamstring stretch, just as you need to, really. And again, you might notice that one side is really tight. It might feel quite different to when we did the other leg. You might need to spend a bit more time in the lunge or in the hamstring stretch. But you're welcome to transition as slowly or quickly as you need to. Finding that hamstring stretch really, really delightful today. So let's come back to hamstring. And then forward to lunge. Now the same hand as the back leg is going to reach up. So whichever leg's behind you, take that same arm up. Spare hand might be on a block or might just be coming down to fingertips here. So we're reaching one side of the body to lengthen, to find a little bit of extra space and stretch in the hip flexor. So that's sort of the front of your hip crease. Deep breath. And prepare to bring in your pelvic floor. So when you're ready, exhale, you're going to lift your pelvic floor up, nice and tight in there. Inhale, relax, lengthen, and deeper hips. So inhale, find a really strong, tight contraction. Inhale, release, and stretch. Exhale, pelvic floor. Inhale, release, and stretch. Good, gently take those hands back down and step it back to hands and knees. From hands and knees, you're just going to sashay or sway your hips side to side there, just to loosen off. And let's take 1 foot forwards now for a long extended lunge. So this is kind of similar. Come to your lunge position, but you're going to bring 2 hands inside the foot. So the foot goes wide to the edge of the mat, and you've got your hands here in the middle. We're then going to curl our back toes and lift the back knee. So we're in a slightly stronger lunge position here. Okay. So your middle hand, the hand that's in the middle of your mat, is going to start to lift up as you twist. Turn onto the outer edge of the back foot as you allow your hips to gently drop towards the mat, and point your fingers towards the back of the mat behind you. This is a yoga-inspired twisted lizard stretch. Really nice for the outer hip, but strong as well. And then gently bringing your knees to forward face, legs forward face, and hands back. And we go again. Middle hand is going to lift and open as you twist your body. Drop your hips as you point your fingertips towards the back of the mat. And breathe. Letting the hips sink, letting the knee open wide. And then bring it back through to the center. Step back, knees down, child's pose there. And we change legs. So bring one knee forwards to your lunge. Again, that foot is going to go wide to the edge of the mat, and the 2 hands are going to come into the middle of the mat somewhere. Curl your back toes and lift your back knee, so you're in your strong extended lunge. Middle hand is going to twist and open, and then you're going to start to turn your back foot onto the outer edge. You're going to turn and drop the hips, taking your fingertips towards the back of your mats. Breathe. And then nice and strong back to your long extended lunge. Let's go again. Middle hand starts to lift and twist. We're going to twist on the back foot, open the front knee into your twisted lizard, and breathe. It's a strong one. And back through to the center, and step back, knees down, and child's pose. Lovely. Next, grab a block or a stool or a ball, something that you can raise your hands on to increase the range in the child's pose. So hands are going to come onto the block, the ball or the stool. The higher the object, the deeper range you're going to get through the shoulders. So you can relax your head through the arms and just let your shoulders start to open up. You might notice a little bit of a back bend in the back here as well, can be really good. As I say, the higher your object, the deeper the stretch can go. Be sensible with shoulders, they're quite a shallow ball and socket joint. And just enjoy that stretch of the back. Feels really good. And then we'll come back up and out of that. We're going to come to lay down for a little neck stretch. This one's an awesome stretch. It requires very little effort, which is what we like. So have a nice lie down. You can have your legs wherever you want them. You might want to extend them, cross them, whatever you need. And we're just going to relax through the upper body. So arms beside you, palms upward facing towards the ceiling. That just encourages your shoulders to externally rotate and release some tension. Check that you've not bunched your shoulders up to your ears. Try and drop them down to give your neck loads of space. And then all you're going to do is turn your chin to the right side. So as you turn to look right, just go as far as your neck will allow you and just hold there. You're not forcing the look to the right, you're just letting it go. So we don't have to do anything that requires effort here. I just want you to find the weight of your head on the mat behind you. So just start to connect with that heavy sensation of your head sinking into the mat. And your head and your neck will do all the work for you. If you just let those go, they will stretch as far as they're willing to stretch. It's a really nice, safe way of stretching. The weight of your head fully supported on the mat. And you're just increasing your awareness of the weight of the head. And you will feel that pull in the neck, but you're not forcing it or encouraging it any further. Just allow the head and neck to rest, essentially. And the more they rest, the heavier they feel, the more relaxed you feel, and the further your neck will be happy to go. So nice and slowly, really slowly, we'll bring the head back to the centre. And then you might just want to do a few little looks left and right, kind of rolling the head side to side gently before we do the other side. So a few more rolls if you want them. And then we're just going to reset shoulders down away from ears in case they bunched up, and turn your chin to the left side. So as you turn your chin to the left, start to notice the weightiness of your head on the mat behind you. No need to push, no need to do anything at all. Just notice how heavy your head is. Feel the weight of it melting into the mat. You could even imagine your head almost melting through the mat, through into the floor beneath you. And your neck and head will do all of the work that they want to do. You're totally supported, and you're building your awareness of the weight of the head. And then very slowly, starting to bring the head and the gaze back to the centre. And there may be again a few looks left and right, a few rolls here. We don't need to rush this. And then I'm going to encourage you to come up nice and slowly after that and come to a seated position. So just exploring now by tucking the chin and gently rolling left to right. And then bringing your head back up on top of your body. Really good job today. Hope you feel a little bit looser, and I'll see you on the next class.